to another edition of today's Conversations on Leadership, powered by Life University. I'm Dr. Gilles LaMarche, your host, and I'm thrilled to have a gentleman that I've befriended over the years, but realized today that we had not seen each other for a decade. So I'm thrilled to have him with us today, and I know that you will be thrilled with his messages. Dr. Ben Lerner, he is the president CEO of the Ultimate Influence Group. UIG owns, manages, and has invested in multiple companies and startups in health, tech, finance, marketing, real estate, manufacturing, consulting, and coaching. He is a busy man. He's written 2 New York Times bestsellers. I know that I've read at least one of them. He's traveled to 4 Olympics as a US team doctor. He's opened over 150 chiropractic clinics. Dr. Lerner has a bachelor's in nutrition, a master's in psychology, is a doctor of chiropractic, graduate of Life University 1991, 30 years already, and currently working at completing his doctorate in business administration. Dr. Lerner, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. And you look younger than you did when I saw you 10 years ago. What have you been doing, Dr. Ben?
It's getting my atlas adjusted.
Starts that way, doesn't it?
Keeps you young.
So let's get right into this. We only have a few minutes together, and I know you're busy too. So as it relates to everything that's happening in your organization, because it's huge now, and you have so many different verticals, I guess. Where did the great ideas come from in your organization?
Thanks to, I graduate of Life University, and it really put me on a mission from God. So it's always, how do I improve the world? BJ Palmer, who is the founder of chiropractic, he said that he is on a mission to make the world a safe, sane, healthy, better place for people to live. So that's really what it's all about. So really the ideas start there. What trouble in the world is there that we can solve? And then I really look to partner with leaders, like yourself, people that are out there that have done very big things that I haven't done. So I partner with billionaires and 100 millionaires, and work with people that have huge ideas that can help me do things that I've never done before. And that's really where a lot of it starts. All my companies, there's generally some partnership with somebody who's bigger, better, smarter than I am.
Isn't it fun? Because those people are there and they're actually available when you take the time to search and find them and ask for support, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're generally more available and willing to work with you than you think. They're looking for good people and great ideas. And so that's been the fun part, is just tagging along with others that have gone before me.
So if you looked at what you've accomplished so far in your life since graduation, did you ever think you'd get there when you started?
I think it's really so important that people keep an open mind. And I even said this as we were warming up before the show, that I love that about chiropractic. It can really take you anywhere. I've been all over the world thanks to chiropractic. You can accomplish anything with that degree. It's really pretty phenomenal. But, I got out of school. I wanted to have a successful chiropractic clinic, just one good clinic. Now, as you mentioned, I've opened up 153 clinics, and, I currently run over a dozen businesses, and definitely didn't think that was going to happen, but kept an open mind. And again, that commitment to making a difference in the world, leaving a legacy, all those things have continued to drive me.
And those are great nuggets for everybody listening in. If you want to be a leader and you want to step into the leadership qualities that you have, being committed to a vision bigger than yourself is so important. Leaders today, Dr. Ben, are facing challenges maybe like never before. In your opinion, what's one of, or maybe a couple of the biggest challenges that are actually facing our leaders today in any aspect of leadership?
I think there's a challenge that's been inherent in living on planet Earth for quite a few decades, which is the fact that it's constantly changing. I think the difference today is it's changing so rapidly. Now, I'm involved in an NFT company, and I do a lot of work within cryptocurrency. And I think even the currency is changing. Everything we do is just completely going to be different tomorrow than it is today. So becoming a master of change is kind of the concept we live by in my organization, that we want to be ahead of the curve, thinking about what could happen. So these black swan events like COVID, for some people, that's been crushing, and it's really ruined their career, shut down their business. For us, we expect black swan events to occur, these history changing events that make everything different than it was before? And how will we respond to be flexible enough to deal with chaos, ambiguity, hostility, volatility, so that not only do we survive it, but we have the resiliency to actually improve and get better and create new things as a result of it? I think that issue of mastering change is so critical right now.
Is there anything that you do or someone in your organization does on a regular basis to be prepared for that black swan event?
For example, I'll invest in things so that I could be part of world changing processes. So like I've invested in a tech incubator. And so I get to interact with dozens of new co-founders on a regular basis that are constantly innovating, constantly looking at how to deal with what's next. So you want to be around a lot of what's next people who understand technology, are always looking at where the world is going. You look at like these guys that have become crypto billionaires, some of which I spent some time with, the people like a Gary Vaynerchuk, who got into NFTs before anybody knew what an NFT was, that's made hundreds of millions of dollars, just in buying little doodles and turning it into an industry. So these are people who are looking way ahead. They're seeing trends before they even happen. And plugging into those type of people helps you invest early, get involved early, and realize that everything as we know it is going to change. And I want to be ahead of that curve, kind of like the whole old Wayne Gretzky thing. Make sure you're skating where the puck is going.
Not where it is, but where it's going, right?
Right.
Well, that brings us perfect into the next question, because my next question to you is, can you explain the impact that social networking and Web 2.0 has had on your organization or on you personally?
Yeah. So as an old guy, so I'm in my late 90s. And so, I was against technology. Like, I used to say, I hate technology. I'm not good at it. And then you realize, well, that's the entire world's heading that direction. So I've literally immersed myself with other people. Again, I don't know that I'll ever be great at it, but I've partnered with, surrounded myself by people that are amazing at technology. So everything we're doing is based on tech, including the fact that I even own part of a tech incubator, to get myself involved with that, so that everything we're doing is based on Web 2.0. So, one of my latest ventures is we have something called the Adapt Family. It's a podcast network, which is a vision of mine. And I've partnered with people that are brilliant at creating these online shows, taking podcasts to another level, 7, 8 types of software that help you market all the things that you're doing. Bringing myself, into a world with those people, knowing that that's the way it's going. So I want to be out there at the, forefront of it as it evolves.
Well, obviously, from what you've done in the past 30 years, you've been on the cutting edge, or you've been hanging with people on the cutting edge. So it makes you that person. What are you doing to ensure that you continue to grow and develop as a leader? I mean, I know you say you want to stay ahead of the curve, but what does Ben do to make sure that Ben is always ready to lead his organization or to support other organizations that you partner with?
So when I was in college, I was an All-American wrestler. And one of the things that used to be fun is like some of the big football players or black belts in karate would come in the room because they wanted to see how they could do with the wrestlers. And we would always, beat the heck out of those guys. We would thrash them because they didn't know how to wrestle. And, I'm very proud of the fact that I'm a chiropractor, proud Life University grad. But I didn't really know leadership. I didn't know business. I didn't know finance. So actually what I do is I've gone back to school, which took a lot to get yourself to want to get back to a classroom and back to writing papers and taking tests. But since graduating life and about, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and I realized I was pretty inadequate, candidly. I was not a great leader. I didn't know anything about finances. I always said, oh, that's the stuff I don't want to know anything about. I didn't know business that well. So even though I had built a pretty big company, I was really kind of terrible at a lot of the inner workings of managing it. So I went back and got my master's and now getting my PhD in business. So a lot of what I do to prepare myself for the future is just to educate myself, to go and become, that black belt, that master in something, so that I really can say that I'm an expert and not like those old guys who used to come in the wrestling room and think you're strong and think you can win and get your butt kicked.
Well, you've shared some great advice in a matter of just a very, very few short minutes. Any closing remarks for our audience today?
Yeah, I just think that, right now we need people that are innovators, are world changers. We can't sit back and say COVID's wrecking things, or the government or the president is ruining life for everybody. That you really can become greater. You can really plug into people. Like you said, there's a lot of very successful people that would be happy to mentor you and work with you to create something bigger. That you really can have something that can make a difference in a struggling world, that can be your future. You're never stuck. You're not locked into anything. Never blame the environment. I think as we say, we're the wind, not the trees. We move the trees don't move us. So I think we can change our environment. We can make the world a better place, but we do have to become better leaders to do it.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your insight in these short few minutes together. I know that our audience will certainly benefit from the advice. And I know that, the advice that you give is based on the School of Hard Knocks, as you mentioned. I mean, you started here and you've worked your way, but you've diligently maintained your commitment, I believe, and I think you'll agree, to serving humanity and to serving the greater good.
Yeah, and certainly people like you and the other pioneers in our profession have driven me to know what was possible. So thank you also.
Well, it was a pleasure to have you on this podcast. I look forward to having it released to the population out there. And please know that we're very proud of you as a great Life University graduate. Keep doing great things. Keep serving humanity. And blessings to you and your wonderful family. Thanks so much, Dr. Ben.